Hello my dear students, welcome to computer science class. In our previous video classes, we have started with the topic that is built-in functions or the library functions. We have discussed the stdio.h, string.h, stdlib.h, iostream.h library functions in our previous video classes. In today's video classes, we shall discuss about the iomanip.h and the math.h, which are the remaining library functions to be discussed. Let us begin with the first one, that is iomanip.h. iomanip actually stands for input-output manipulators. So this input-output manipulators are being used in order to perform some IO manipulations on output statements like cout. It also contains certain macros for input-output manipulators. What are these macros? Macros are nothing but they are a small piece of code in a program given certain name. Whenever the compiler will encounter the names of macros, it will replace with its actual code. So in order to perform certain manipulation in the sense what? Certain change in the format or formatting of your output statement, then such kinds of functions we actually refer them as an input-output manipulators. So such some of the few examples of under the iomanip.h are endl, setw and setPrecision. We have a different kinds of other doc, hex, setfile, ws, different kinds of library functions that comes under iomanip, but few of them which we have come across I've listed below here. The first one is the endl. Endl actually it's suppose if I want two different output statements to be printed within different lines, if I want to print it, then you can go for the endl. If you don't use the endl, then the two different output statement will appear within the same line. If I want like hello, and the very next line if I have welcome to computer science class. So these are the two different cout statement if I'm using, and if I want that output to be displayed onto the two different lines, then the first statement should include the endl at the end of its statement. Then only I'm getting the output in the two different lines. For that sake, I'm using a function known as endl, which stands for end of line. Then we have setw. Setw is nothing but it stands for to set the width in the output statement. Suppose if I want like the sorting of numbers, if when I sort a numbers, I want to display like 10, 20, 30, 40, like having at least 1 month gap in between those numbers. This is how the correct format of displaying the output. But what if the all 10, 20, 30 all coming within the same word without any gap? Then that is not the correct format of displaying the output. In that case, if I have to want to give the width between the two different numbers or the different numbers which you are getting the sorting, then we need to set the width in the output statement. So for that I'm using the setw. Next we have the setPrecision. setPrecision is nothing but, suppose if you have a decimal number like 38.12345, like this, if you're getting after the decimal point, if you're getting many numbers, but you would like to weave after the decimal point only two numbers if you want to weave. In that case, you can use the setPrecision. setPrecision is a function that would help you to weave the number of elements after number of digits after the decimal point. For that we may use the setPrecision. So moving on to the next header file, that is the math.h. I know you have already come across the function known as square root. We have used in class, power we have used, exponential also we have used, isn't it? So some of the mathematical header files which are being most commonly used in our programs that I have included here. Apart from that, we have tan, cos, sine, sine inverse, cos inverse. Yes, we have a different kinds of other mathematical functions which are actually mod, okay, which are used to perform some calculations. Now here in square root, stands for square root. It would help you to find out the square root of any given number. Similarly, power. Okay, like if I have 2 raised to 2, when I calculate, you can easily calculate. But what if I have 2 raised to 32, 2 raised to 40, like that? So using this inbuilt function power, that is POW, followed by, you need to pass an arguments 2 comma 32, then automatically it will calculate the 2 raised to 32 power, it will calculate and give. Similarly, I can even find the exponential of a given numbers, and then logarithm also you can find. So these are the few of them which I have included for under the math.h header file. So if you want to use any of these library functions, you need to include the math.h. So this completes the some built-in functions. Okay, this is the built-in function. Next we shall study some character and string functions, built-in functions. So already we have discussed about the character and string functions in some other chapter. We have already come across an introduction to C++, but still we will have a quick glance on what are the different character library functions we have, built-in library functions. So before we start with the character functions, what is a character? Character is nothing but it's a single character which is enclosed in a single quotes. What we can say is a character. Okay, any character which is enclosed within single quotes, we refer it as an character constant or a character function. So herein, whatever the character we give, that character will have its integer value called as an ASCII value. Okay, so the whatever we are passing an argument like this, whatever we are passing, it will be used by its ASCII code. Now look at this. Now this is A is a character constant, or you can say it is a character. Y is a character. Now what is the general example, like how do you declare and initialize a character is, this is a data type, that is char, followed by a variable name is equal to what value it has to hold. Now this P will be actually replaced with its ASCII value. So all these characters will have its equivalent integer value called as an ASCII code or ASCII value. That stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Alright, so there are some built-in functions for the character functions, like that is alpha, is digit, is alphanumeric, is upper, to lower, to upper, is punctuation. In order to use all these built-in character functions, we need to include an header file called as ctype.h. This is a header file. Now let us move on to have a glance on what are the different kinds of character functions we have. Here comes the list of different character functions which are built-in functions. Is alpha. Is alpha is a one function which will find out whether the given character is an alphabet or not. If it is a given character it's an alphabet, whether it's a lowercase or whether it's an uppercase, it returns a non-zero value. Non-zero in the sense it returns actually 1. Suppose if you enter a given character to be as question mark or any number, if you enter, then it returns 0. In the sense it returns 0, in the sense it considered it's not an alphabet. Now look at here, is alpha of h. H is an argument. So remember all these character functions will accept at least one argument. It will accept at least one argument, it has to accept, otherwise it will not work well. So herein is alpha of h, in the sense if now entered character is an alphabet, that is why it returns 1. Now here if you observe entered alphabet, character is a 9, therefore it returns 0. Moving on to the next one, is digit. Is digit is returning, suppose if you pass an argument to be as a 9 or any number, any digit if you pass, it definitely returns a non-zero, means it definitely returns a value that is 1. If at all other than the number, if you are passing out any different as an argument, whether it's in some punctuation marks or whether it's an alphabet, uppercase or lowercase, irrespective of that, if you pass as an argument, then is digit function will return 0. I hope you are able to understand. So this is one to find out whether the entered character is alphabet or not. This is a function is digit in order to find out whether the given character is an digit or not. Similarly, we have an alphanumeric. Alphanumeric in the sense it returns a non-zero value if the entered is a character, that is it might be a letter or a digits, irrespective of whether it's an lowercase or uppercase. Even if you give like is alphanumeric of 9 returns 1, is alphanumeric of z returns 1, is alphanumeric of small I or capital I, any of the value it returns 1. Suppose if you, apart from these alphabets and digits, if you give any extra punctuation marks if you are giving, then it returns 0. That's what it is alphanumeric. Okay. I hope children you are able to understand. Moving on to the next one is upper. Is upper is a one which will find out whether the entered character is an uppercase or not. If it is uppercase, then it returns the value as 1. Suppose if it is not an uppercase, then it would return the value to be as 0. Look at here, is upper of S. You are passing this as an argument. Since it's a since it's an uppercase, it returns the value as 1. And here the past argument here is lowercase, so it returns 0. Similarly, we have is lower. Is lower is a one function whether to find out whether the given character is an lowercase or not. It returns true or 1 only when the entered character is a lowercase. It returns false, that means it returns 0 once the function, if you are passing an argument to be as a lower. So here it is not an is alpha, it is actually as is lower it should be written. So it is in your textbook, it's a misprinted here. Make a correction, it should be is lower here. Fine. Moving on to the next one, is space. It's a new function that we have come across. So it returns a non-zero value if the character is a space. Suppose if you are giving character is what, \n is a space, isn't it? It returns 1 when you are given a character to be as space, or if you are giving vertical tab or carriage return or form feed, okay, or any new line character if you are giving, then definitely it would return to be as 1. Suppose apart from this, if you are returning any other value like 5 alphabet or any digit or any other punctuation marks apart from these, then it would definitely return to be as false, that is 0. Moving on to the next one is punctuation. Okay, so it will identify whether the given character is punctuation or not. If a given character, if it is like this punctuation, definitely it would return as 1. If it is any other character like null character, new line character, apart from this any other alphabet or something like that, if you are giving, then definitely it would return me as it's not. See, it returns a non-zero if the given character is a special character. It is telling special character in the sense any \n or any alphabet or something if you give, it gives me as it's a that is a false value, that is 0. Moving on to the next one is to upper. To upper is one which will convert a given character into an uppercase. Suppose if you are giving an input to be as a lowercase, then it will convert to the uppercase. What if you give the input itself to be as an uppercase, then the character remains. That means the character remains the same. That means output remains the same as what you have given as input. So look at here. See, to upper of S if I am passing, then it gives me the uppercase character, so capital S we got from this particular built-in function. Similarly, we have to lower, so it converts a given uppercase into the lowercase. If it is lowercase only as an input, it remains the same as output. So I am passing the argument here as capital S and it is returning me the answer as yes. Then moving on to the last function, that is to ASCII. To ASCII, it converts a character into its ASCII code or ASCII value, because as we have said, the characters are having its integer value known as an ASCII code. Anytime you enter a character through your keyboard, everything will be converted into its ASCII value. Based upon the ASCII values only calculations will perform. So see here, to ASCII of lowercase z when I pass as an argument, we get as 122 because the lowercase ASCII value is z. What if I pass the argument as to ASCII of lowercase a? Then the ASCII value, it would return me the number as 97. Similarly, the lowercase b if I pass, it would return me as 98 it would be returning. Now similarly, if I pass an uppercase A character, uppercase A alphabet if I pass, then it would return me 65. Similarly, B with 66, C with 67, and finally what if I pass an uppercase Z? It would return me the value as 90. Irrespective of whatever the value you are passing, it will give its equivalent ASCII value. So these are the some of the character functions that we have come across. Now let me just execute some of the programs of this one and I'll show. If you want the execution of all the different functions here, you can just refer to the introduction to C++ chapter there. There also have shown some of the examples. So here just let me so that you people should have an idea how to identify it's an alphabet and digits and all. Now look at this particular program here. I have written a program here to find out whether the given character is an alphabet or not. So I have an header files. IOStream I have used it because of cout and cin here. Conio I have used it for the clear screen, and getch I have used for C-type. I'm using this one as an header file because I'm using a function. Okay. Yes. Here there are two ways actually. So this one is a statement wherein I can find out whether an entered character is alphabet or not without using any inbuilt function. So I have made it as comment here. But here I am using one of the inbuilt function known as isAlpha, which is of belong in an inbuilt function that belongs to an header file known as ctype.h. Okay, so isAlpha of, I am giving an input to be as character and I am asking the user to enter the character. One way is you can even directly initialize it here. ch is equal to a, but every time it will become a static one, it will be executing only for this particular input. So I may, if you want to change the input at every time, then you can ask the user to enter, read that character and store it in a variable known as ch. Okay, and I'm passing an argument here as ch. If isAlpha of ch, if it is true, then it prints me as it's an alphabet, else it prints me it's not an alphabet. Let me compile this program. Herein I got 0 errors. Let me run the code. See here, enter the character. Let me give the character here to be as D. Then see, it's giving me as it's an alphabet. Similarly, one more time I'll just show with and give by giving some other input. 8 I'm giving this time. See, it's giving me as it's not an alphabet. I hope you are able to understand. Moving on to the next program here, that is digit. Look at here, enter the number. Similarly, the code remains same, only the function changes here. If is digit of ch, I'm checking whether the given entered number is a it's a digit or not. So I'll just compile this one. I've just accordingly changed the cout statement here. That's it. Then I'll run the code. Enter the number. Let me give this time as the given character number to be as a G. Input invalid I have given. So see, it's saying that it's not a digit. Let me run it again. Now this time I'll give a valid number as an input here. See, it says it's a digit. This is how the built-in functions will work. I hope children you are able to understand. The last one here with the character functions. See, now herein we are actually converting the lowercase. We are given converting whatever the uppercase letter. If you are giving the input, we are converting into the lowercase. I'm asking the user to enter the character, and I'm using a built-in function known as toLower. I'm passing this argument here, toLower of C. Okay, if and then after converting into the lowercase, I'm storing it in a variable known as x, and finally I'm printing the lowercase character is x. Okay, so and this one line I have commented because later I'll be showing how to do it with uppercase. So I'll just compile it 0 and then run. Nothing that I'm giving input to be as an uppercase, I'll give it as an R. It should convert me to the lowercase. Yes, what if I give it in the the input itself to be as lowercase? If I give it as E, okay, then see, it remains the same. Similarly, now this time I'll comment this particular line and then I'll remove the comment of this one and just I'll run the code. Anyway, the errors remains 0 only. So we are going to convert into the uppercase. So now let me give the lowercase here. See, it is converting into the uppercase. So this is how we are able to use the built-in functions. Now let us move on to the next topic, that is how to input a single character. What if I have to read and display only the single character? Yes. Yes. Suppose if I want to just read a single character as an input and want to display a single character as an output, then we can use one of the function known as get. So this get function will allow you to read only a single character. I hope you are able to understand. Now here in the general form of this particular how to use this get function is, we first will take a variable known as ch of type data type as character. Then instead of cin statement, like when you ask enter the character, then directly you are using cin followed by stream extraction and then ch you're writing. Instead of that, you can directly use a built-in function known as get followed by its variable. That means whatever the user is entering will be stored in this particular variable. Okay, and then we are reading it by using the cin statements. Otherwise, the same thing you can rewrite it in this way also. Character, I am using a variable known as ch of type data type as character, and then even you can write cin dot get of ch and store it in a variable known as back again into the ch. Okay. Let me discuss this and then show you one programming example so that you can clearly understand how to we use the get function. Either you can use one of the syntax in this way or you can use in this way, any of your choice, but this one will help you to read only the single character. Okay. So what if I want to output a single character? For that I have a function known as put function here. The general syntax how to use the put function is cout followed by an dot and followed by a put function, and what you want to display, that particular variable you have to pass it as an argument. So I have here char ch, okay, and this is a reading statement. Okay, this is a reading statement of a single character, and this is an output statement how to read and display, how to display a single character. Let me explain this one with a programming example here. Here I have written the program itself for you. So look at here. This is a program actually to determine the type of character. Now if you carefully observe here, I have taken a variable known as ch here of data type char and then enter the character. See, instead of directly using cin followed by a character, I am using a function known as get. Okay, so get I am using, and after when I read a character, I am storing it in a variable known as ch. So cin dot get of ch here, whatever you read it with the help of get function will be stored in a variable known as ch. And then I am checking if ch is greater than a, and if it is character, ch in the sense character, if it is less than z, or if it is greater than lowercase a and less than the lowercase z, then I am going to print it as it is an alphabet. Else if whatever the input I am reading, if it is greater than the 0 and if it is less than 9. So what are these actually? A, z, lowercase a, z, all these are the character constants we can refer, wherein actually they are being evaluated against its ASCII values, isn't it? Okay, then if it is lying within this particular ASCII value, then I'm going to print it as it is a digit. Else I'm going to definitely print it as it is a special character. Now let us assume I have entered a lowercase, r. If I have entered a lowercase r, then CH is greater than or is equal to this uppercase A. What is the ASCII value of uppercase A? That's 65. And the uppercase Z is 90. So whether the R, the lowercase r, whether its ASCII value lie between the 65 and 90? No. Coming to this particular point. What is the ASCII value of A? That is 97, and the ASCII value of lowercase z is 122. So input given character is lowercase r. Whether its ASCII value lie between this ASCII value? Yes. If it is so, then it is printing as it is an alphabet. Like this, we are going to use the reading statement, that is cin.get. Depending upon that, we are printing the statement. I hope children you are able to understand. Let me compile this program so that you can clearly understand how we are using the get function, and this is one of your textbook program. So let me run the code. Now an input character it is asking. Let me give the yes. I have given a lowercase s there. See, it's identifying that it is a alphabet. Again, I'll just run the code. Here, enter the character. Now let me give an uppercase character here. See, it's an alphabet. It is identifying it's an alphabet. Then let me give this time to be any number I'll give. So it's identifying it as a digit. Next one, because one more we have to find out it's a special character or not, right? I'll give one of the symbol here. See, it's identifying it as a special character. I hope children you are able to understand this program. Okay, so directly use, instead of using the scene, if at all if it is a single character. Now let me show another sample example for you so that you can understand. So what if I give more than one character A, B, C as an input? Actually A, B, C, it's more than one character. Actually the get function is a one which is reading you only the single character. What if I give A, B, C? Still it's printing it is an alphabet. It's not taking A, B, C as in completely. It is able to read only one single character, that is A. Yes. Let me show you. Run. Let me give it as U and 8. See, still it's giving it's an alphabet. Why? Because your get function have read only the single character. By identifying this single character ASCII value, it is printing as it is an alphabet. I hope children you are able to understand how the get function have the capacity to read only a single character. That is why whatever the first character you give it, only that character will be read. Depending upon whether it's an alphabet or whether it's a digit or whether it's a special character, it will identify and it displays the result. So today's video class we have completed with the two different library functions, that is iomanip and math.h, and we have discussed about the character functions and how to use the get and put function. I'll show it in some other class, and how to use the get function. Okay, and we have discussed one practical program. In our next classes, we shall see the further practical different programs we shall see, and we shall also study the string function. Thank you students. Take care of yourself.